giving me a beautiful story centering queer identities alongside a nod to current events, basketball, and higher learning. And this novella will have you remembering to always be true to who you are. Are you ready?
Yeah, 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 yeah. The Books and Vogue podcast. Yeah, 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 yeah. Come get your favorite next book. Yeah, 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 yeah. The Books and Vogue podcast. Yeah, 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 yeah. With Catherine and Brad.
Welcome, book lovers, to the Books on Vogue podcast. This is your premier listening experience, all about immersive reading and helping avid and reluctant readers alike imagine book characters like never before. I'm your host, Kat Trinidad. The format of the show is I introduce a book, give you tips on how you can engage your senses as you read this title, because it's one thing to be a mood reader, but you get a little something extra from the story when you are set the mood reader. And finally, I will end the show with a reimagining of my favorite scene. Today, we will discuss techniques for getting into rainbow with none other than the author, Verde Arzu. Welcome, Verde.
Hey, how you doing, Kat? I appreciate you having me on today. I'm excited. I'm excited about the scene and just talking a little bit about Rainbow.
Okay, so tell us about the book.
So, Rainbow is a Black queer novella, and it's a story about self-discovery and remaining true to yourself. That's pretty much the gist of Rainbow.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Verde. Do you care to join me in a discussion of some tips for setting the reading mood?
Absolutely. Let's go.
Well, okay, book lovers, I hope you have your writing utensils ready because class is in session.
Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it. Ah. Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it. Ah. Hear it, see it, smell it, sense it, taste it, touch it.
The Books and Vogue podcast.
So, Verde, what's the vibe? How can we engage our spirit as we read this book?
I would say that Rainbow, the vibe is like radiant, hopeful. It's queer affirming, so it's proud. Happy Pride Month to everybody out there. And I also think that it's warm and reflective. And then it also, because I am someone who is a study of history, I drop a couple gems in there. So it's got some uplifting and reflective components to it, a little educator's touch in there as well. So that's kind of the vibe. I
Okay,
always
okay.
grab a couple of gems.
Awesome. So what's the sound of rainbow? What key notes in music or nature could set the tone as we read this novel?
Well, when I listen to books, I really can't have like words playing in the background, like voices and music like that. So I would say for me, and maybe some Miles Davis, a little instrumental. But for my younger generation out there, maybe a little lo-fi in the background, you know,
Okay.
while you reading.
Maybe
Yeah.
they need to listen to some Miles Davis. It's good to listen to the ancestors.
Listen, I put Miles Davis on in the classroom all the time with no problem, okay? And the kids
Okay.
are playing, so
They have to learn to respect it.
absolutely.
So do share the aesthetics. This can be any visuals aside from the book, such as lighting.
Well, Rainbow does take place at a historically Black college or university. So I'm thinking, some vibrant sun, natural light coming in through the windows, warm browns, greens, yellows, that kind of maybe like a changing of the season. Maybe we're coming out of winter and we're heading into spring and, love and love, that kind of vibe where it's renewing. We can feel some change in the air. So, greens and yellows and browns and kind of like earthy tones. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So what's the flavor? Any food or drink companions for this title?
You know what? When I saw that, I was like, yeah, what would be the flavor of rainbow? And the initially it came to me ice cream, strawberry ice cream. Because it's like when you're eating ice cream, you're reading a good book, you're into it, it's good. You don't have to think too much about it. So I would say like something sweet, like, your favorite dessert. I love strawberry ice cream, so or some butter pecan. That's a classic black ice cream. It's my favorite ice cream actually. So, but when I thought about that question, I thought about strawberry
Okay.
ice cream.
Okay. Okay. Definitely something cool and refreshing, especially on a hot summer day like today. I feel you.
Exactly. Sweet, not too sweet though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what's the aroma? Are there any smells to transport us into the pages?
I'm thinking some Nag Champa incense.
Mm.
I used to burn them a lot in college. And yeah, so it's like a cool, chill, kickback kind of a scent where you're just kind of relaxing, you're not doing too much. Maybe you you got your study music on. It's kind of like that. That's kind of a little aroma of rainbow.
Now, you mentioned non-chopper.
Nag Champa.
That's new to me. Can you spell that? What's it
Nag
spell? Let me
Champa,
look that up.
Nag.
Uh-huh.
And Champa, Champa. It's when I was just in Southeast Asia, it's like they had it burning everywhere. I
You
love
know
it.
what? Now that you
It-
spelled it, I have burned that before. I just didn't know how to say it.
yeah, yeah, no.
I
No,
don't know why I'm saying it in my head.
you go into some of the black bookstores, the old school bookstores, they got it burning all the time,
Yes, I've smelled it
got that
before, but
vibe.
in my head I was calling the nap something. But
Yeah,
we ain't gonna go.
that's all good. Look, they know what you're talking about if you go in there and you want to get some. They like they got it for you.
I got
But
you, I got you.
it's kind of it's a strong yet it's not overwhelming.
Yeah, yeah. I
Kind of
definitely know what it is now. Yeah, it smell nice, y'all. Go check that out. Go check that out. So how can we get more of the feels? How can we engage our sense of touch as we read this novel?
I would say one of the things you could do, especially in the summertime, you're reading in the summertime, head on outside. Head on outside. If you could be by some water, if you can be by a little waterfall or the pond or somewhere like that, you get the birds, a little wind, a little breeze, the trees. 'Cause it's got some heavy components in it, but it's an easy read. So I think that kind of is compatible with being outside and being in nature and just shooting a breeze. I saw you posted quite a few pictures. You were
Yeah, I was
outside.
gonna mention that I did. I read that in my back patio oasis. And I agree, it is like a wonderful novel to read outside in the field of breeze. It just makes you feel all of like the feelings of a romance. It's
Yeah,
like it's perfect.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
little cute little romance. The more I read, I'm like, oh, look at that. It's the kind of book I wish I could have read when I was in high school or, I wish it was on the bookshelf. So I'm glad it's out there.
Yeah, there was a saying, and I'm terrible because I can't remember who exactly said it, but write the books you want to read, or if there's a story that hasn't been written, write it. Why don't you be the one to write it? So yeah,
That would be Toni Morrison, my
you know
favorite.
it. Yeah, thank you,
Absolutely. That's
thank
that's
you.
that's what I live by. That's what I live by. Toni
Yeah,
Morrison's she's my favorite author of all time because when I was in high school, that's who when I started to read more independently outside of what they were, well, I was searching for myself. I was really looking for myself on the shelf. And Toni Morrison, I think it was Sula, was the first one that was like, "Oh, there are books out there that tell me that relates to me that has the language of me." And that's why Toni Morrison will always have a place in my heart. She badass anyway, but
you
um,
know,
yeah.
yes. Well, there you go, book lovers. These are your recommended supplies as you read this title. If you're able, pause and get some of these if available, or simply imagine because it's time for my favorite scene. Disclaimer, please note that exact words, names, locations, indoor scenarios mentioned in this reimagined reenactment may differ from the actual book. Sharing my favorite scenes, I reenacted though. Imagining the fiction world that I've been reading of. Going from all the things, I just gave you a list. Come experience all the senses as protagonists. And it don't get more real than this. Immersive read with books on both and live vicariously. Fighting for Love, pages 73 through 76, starring Verde Arzu as the narrator and Taylor M. Dawson and Kat Trinidad as Melanie and Williams.
I rushed out of class and practically jogged back to my apartment, hoping not to bump into Melanie or Williams again. But apparently, it was inevitable. As I turned the corner leaving the math building, I walked directly into Melanie. She looked happy and beautiful. Melanie knew just how to accentuate her beauty. Her lips, made up with red lipstick, looked fuller. Her curly hair was wrapped up in a colorful headscarf that made her look like a queen. She wore heels and blue jeans with a short leather jacket, open to reveal a collared shirt unbuttoned low and showing her full round breasts. I couldn't help but stare. Memories played on the projector screen in my mind.
I thought you said you were coming over.
I was. I changed my mind. I guess I stuttered.
Right.
I whipped around, grabbed her wrist, and pulled her in close to me. Where are you going? I asked low, hoping to avoid a scene. I held on tight to her wrist. She was startled.
Oh, Tay, you hurt me.
She cringed, her eyes flashing wide at me. Leave Williams alone, I threatened.
So now you care? Now you want to hold me? Girl, let go of my damn arm.
She tried to pull away, but I gripped her wrist even tighter. Don't try to make a scene, I warned.
You're the one making a scene.
She frowned, speaking in a more aggressive tone.
Now let me go,
she demanded. Listen, and I'll let you go. Leave Williams alone or I'll...
You're what?
She said low, cutting me off, puffing her chest up into my face and sending her scent to my nose and my mind to happier times. The moment excited me. All I really wanted to do was hug her, kiss her, and tell her how sorry I was. I stared down into her shirt and never saw it coming. Williams came running across the quad and pushed me so hard my body slammed into the concrete of the building behind me.
What the fuck is going on over here, Dawson? Is there a problem?
Williams's face stared down at me. She folded her arms and stood protectively in front of Melanie, waiting for my explanation. I was 5'10". She stood towering over me at 6'5". But at that moment, it didn't matter to me. Neither her height nor her strength. Not even the fact that she was my teammate mattered to me in that instant. I saw flashes of black, flashes of red. I felt the heat rising inside my chest. Yeah, there's a problem. This is my girl you fucking. I pushed Williams back and she stumbled into Melanie. Then I swung at her and connected. The fight seemed to last forever. I lost my sense of time and place until I looked up and to find campus police separating us and pulling my arms behind my back. I couldn't recall the punches, scrapes, and scratches, but I felt them as I sat in Coach Red's office with Williams next to me. I was in pain. I gave Williams a once-over. She sat breathing hard, still steaming, but she didn't have so much as a mark on her, except for some of her cornrows being unraveled. She didn't even look like she'd been in any type of physical altercation, more like a hard morning's workout. It was obvious who had won the fight. I slumped even lower in my seat. I was embarrassed and disappointed. Most of all, my head throbbed right alongside my anxious heart. Would I be benched or worse, kicked off the team?
Book lovers. If you have enjoyed this sneak peek, you can get more by reading the whole book. Rainbow by Verde Arzu is available at your local library and everywhere books are sold. And if it's not, requested because you deserve to read all the books that interest you. And if you have already read Rainbow or are in the middle of reading it, let us know in the comments what you like to do to set the reading mood, because I would love to hear from you. So please leave your feedback. Verde, is there anything else you would like to share with the listeners?
Yes, I just published my second Black queer novel. It's called Promise Keeper, and it just came out June 3rd. All right, look at you. Yay! Thank you for your support, Kat. Yeah,
You know
so
I had to get a copy of this book.
thank you so much. So it just came out June 3rd. It's a story about racial identity, inner convictions, and the promises that we make to ourselves, which are the most important to keep, which are the easiest to make, but the hardest to keep. So I'm out here doing a summer book tour. And hopefully, you all can go to your independent bookstores first and ask for a copy of Promise Keeper, as well as Rainbow. They both take place at a historically black college, which is Franklin University, which is a fictional college. And I also have a podcast. It's called Verde's Folding Chair, which is about centering Black voices, Black women, and independent authors, Black queer independent authors such as myself, and making space at the table for us.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. And thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you as well. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you making space for Black queer authors like myself. It means a lot, and I appreciate the work that you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime. And just one more quick message before I let you go. I have a quick announcement before I end the show. We are now a part of the Alive Podcast Network. So if you have enjoyed this episode of the Books and Vogue podcast, I'm sure you will love similar content in the Alive Podcast Network app. Plus, you can support this podcast and enjoy ad-free listening to nearly 100 other Black hosted podcasts. And so now, book lovers, I will leave you with peace, much love, and joy. Thank you for listening and happy reading.
The Books and Vogue podcast. Come get your favorite next book. The Books and Vogue podcast. With Captain Brad. Subscribe, listen, check out recommendations, and happy reading.